Hello. Welcome once again to a Prog Reborn. My name is Emma Kostler. Jeez, this 10 minutes I've been sitting here. Look at how many bots came on by and did their level 15 quest. Anyways, my name is Emma Kostler. And today I'm going to be continuing my playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV, my progression style playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV. If you don't know what that means, you can always look in the description in the video below, or in the description below the video. Or if you happen to be in live chat, you can type in !intro, like I just did, to pull up a link for that same video. If you like what I'm doing with this series, I would love for you to give a like to the stream or the VOD, no, but doesn't matter which. Greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to know the next time that I go live so that you can join along in the fun, best and easiest way to do that at the moment is just subscribe to the channel and get those go live notifications. One final thing, this is not a first time playthrough or reaction playthrough. I am already up to date on my main character, up to, as of recording, patch 6.5. So I may or may not reference tidbits and pieces of information that could come from anywhere in between this point and 6.5, or even supplemental material, as I've been referencing the new Encyclopedia Eorzea a bunch recently. So if you are sensitive to spoilers, this is your warning to get out now. Where were we yesterday? We cleared out everything, nearly everything, to do in the Kurthus Central Highlands. We also finished up the... Finally, we got a better outfit. Also finished up the Stone Vigil. And are now, I believe, just about to make it to Garuda. Looking at our jobs here. Seems like a good idea to switch over to Scholar if we go immediately into Garuda. I don't remember exactly. Sid still working on his memory. He's just taking Alphino's word for it that Sid is Sid. Let's go. Why do you tarry, M? Our work is not yet... Why do you tarry, M? Our work is not yet finished. We must press onward until the Harpy Queen lies broken at our feet. Into the eye of the storm. Sid appears to be in deep thought. Hoist. Camera angles, though. These camera angles are... Nope. It calms me to look at her. It's as though I've been reunited with a part of me I never knew was missing. Hardly surprising, you did design and build her. God, he's such a little shit in ARR. I bear good news. The Seed Seers have granted our request to house the Enterprise. It may take as long as we require to repair her. Of course, it would be rank folly to take one moment more than we require. Garuda, lest we forget, grows by the hour. If we are to have any hope of wresting this benighted realm from her talons, it must needs be soon. Though I am no expert on the workings of airships, it seems plain to me that the Enterprise suffered much from her time in the wilderness. Am I not correct, Sid? You are. Frankly, it's a miracle she carried us this far. As you know, the Howling Eye is encircled by a raging tempest, apt to turn proud trees to matchwood. Our battle will end before it begins if the Enterprise cannot weather the storm. Given time, I believe I can fully repair her. But if this tempest is as fearsome as you say, even that may not be enough. Confound it. There must be a way to brave the fury of the elements. The elements. But of course, that's it. We work upon the element itself. Using the power of a corrupted crystal, we could clear a path through the storm and spare the Enterprise a battering. I see. You propose to utilize the properties of a crystal to alter the elemental aspect of the barrier. It seems so childishly simple in retrospect. Though mayhap not to you, M. We speak of the manifestations of over-aspected ether that can be found throughout Eorzea. Since the calamity disrupted the land's etheric currents, such crystals have become comparatively commonplace, which has been a cause of great woe, as they are known to warp etheric energies, including those of living organisms. The point is, we could theoretically use a corrupted crystal to convert the one-aspected ether comprising Garuda's barrier into ether of another aspect, one she cannot control. With certain modifications, the Enterprise should be able to deliver us to the Howling Eye in comfort, however hard Garuda blows. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. All of this rests upon our ability to procure a crystal with the necessary properties. Have you any idea where we might acquire one? No, but I know a man who might. A scholar by the name of Lamberient. Lamb, who resides in Camp Drybone. Strange as it may sound, I met him during my time at the church. Well, Marquez met him, I suppose. Whether out of pity or for want of a more willing listener, he would talk to me for hours at a time about his etheric studies, corrupted crystals being his pet subject. It was as a result of these conversations that poor Marquez was observed to possess an uncommon knack for theoretical science. M, I need you to return to Thanlan and seek out this scholar. Sid and I will set about repairing the Enterprise in your absence. Brum, boom, boom, brum. Since we are not immediately getting into that, let's go ahead and switch over to Dragoon. And they said Camp Tranquil. No, sorry, Camp Drybone. Where is this person? They must be up top here. No? Where are they? think that extends this way. Must be. It's got an arrow pointing down. Gotcha. Why, yes, I'm Professor Lamb. Beg pardon. You wish to hear about my research on corrupted crystals? Truly. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than to discuss my work with a fellow man of science. So the silver. Professor Lamb is about to show you something you will never forget. So rare it is to find fellow intellectuals in this region. It is even rarer to find one capable of comprehending the nature of corrupted crystals. Come to think of it, there was another, a hermit to whom the church had given sanctuary. Curious fellow, unsociable, rather daft at first impression, yet possessed an amazing affinity toward the scientific pursuits. But to the matter at hand, did you say that you wish not to conduct field observations, but to harvest a corrupted crystal? Ye gods, man. At least take the necessary precautions so that you do not suffer from exposure to its harmful energies. I'm beginning to wonder if you've sufficient qualifications to handle such hazardous materials. Still, your ignorance is somewhat endearing. Luckily for you, I have precisely the means by which these inherent dangers may be averted. Simply store the crystal you seek within this warded pot to protect yourself from its deleterious effects. Though I suppose you will be bombarded with its energies until you place it within the vessel. Well, perhaps it shall motivate you to work quickly. In any case, take the pot to Haha Sako, a student of mine monitoring the flow of aether at Highbridge. Explain to him your quest, and he shall instruct you in the finer points of crystal harvesting. There's a couple of quests here. Could see about clearing them out along the way. Elmhart has it in his head that you are his main man and returns to you with even more hair-raising requests. Right. This is the guy that needed the hair tonic. Oh no, 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 it's not working. My jaded scalp turns its nose up at the verbal potation. You're that trusty adventurer, M. I need you to fetch something with all haste. Time is short, and the comb is a cruel mistress. Long have I feared this day would come, but I am ready. The Furball tonic is dead. Long live the Snurble tonic. You know where to get Snurble blood, don't you? Snurbles, you say? Wrong. You get Snurble blood from Golden Fleece. Don't think about it. Just go to the Burning Wall and kill 5. How many times must I be made to explain myself? I am not contemplating suicide, you imbecile. I have chosen this precise position to perform scientific measurements. A simple clay pot that has been treated on the inside with a special alchemical sealant. What have we here? A containment vessel. Why, this is the handiwork of Professor Lamb. You thieving knave, I shall call for the... You see the man himself lent it to you. Then you must have sought me out per his instruction, which means he believes me experienced enough to expound upon his explanations. At last, the recognition I so rightly deserve. Ba-dum-ba-ba-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Ahasako is trying very hard to contain his excitement and failing. Oh, frabulous day. Kalu Kalei, that I should be chosen to guide this man. Yes, I, Hahasako, the greatest of Professor Lamb's pupils, shall see you successfully quarry your quarry. Your timing is impeccable, in fact, for I was just preparing to procure some corrupted crystals from the burning wall for my personal research. There, the devastating destruction caused by the calamity has blessed us with a bounty of sublime specimens. But something tells me that not but a perfect piece will satisfy your high standards, in which case you must needs descend to the deepest depths. Amidst the flowing waters and the murderous mirrorites lies the most fascinating formation I have found thus far. Take this highly advanced researcher's tool and use it to separate a small fragment from a large cluster. Place it within the watered pot and bear it back to me for inspection. The path which leads from Burgundy Falls to the base of the burning wall is treacherous and terrifying, but advance with appropriate caution and you shall surely survive. Bom 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 bom. Alright, where is the entrance to this place? Up here. Come on. There we are. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, we got another quest. D is for dead. A rolling stone such as yourself will surely find some business in common with a fellow called Floating Stone, if you would speak to the miner. You know about quartz doblins? Didn't expect you to. They're only found in the most dangerous reaches of Thanalan. Type of goblin they are, just kind of crunchier. Yes, they eat crystals, you know. Around these parts, there's a king's feast to be had. The doblins grow pure, clear quartz right in their bodies. Think you can get some for me? I'll go by. I feel like I've reached, I feel like, the end of the most interesting parts of Encyclopedia Eorzea 3. We're currently just reading random tidbits about random locations. A little bit more about the Crystarium and of its mode of governance. I don't know if there was anything of major interest. Can't really think of anything. I know a little bit about the lady in charge of the crystalline mean. A little bit about Lena, which I guess you can say is pretty interesting. Did not know she was supposed to be so young. Rabbit years, at least. These years. Reductionist. Let's say rabbit years. I knew that the Exarch raised her, de facto grandfather or godfather, how do you describe it. I think I'm supposed to go this way. Can I jump down? What I didn't know is that Graha knew her parents. It would not be a lie to say that this sledgehammer was made for the harvesting of corrupted crystals. Closer. Anybody else need quartz doblins? Mirror Knights, you need golden fleece, you need quartz doblins. Okay. It'll be good when, as much as these hunting logs have been a godsend, because without the hunting logs, it's been so much more time leveling. It will be nice when we're completely done with the hunting logs, because we won't, I say have to, it's not like we have to take this time out to of the sort of plan that I had for the day to clear some of this random stuff. Spend the time just beating up mobs. Once we get past patch 2.0, It's going to be a significantly simpler path to leveling up. Just sort of bouncing around between jobs using the duty roulette. Okay, who else needs things here? Golden Fleece, you need goblins. I think it's the white mage who needed the fleece. Alrighty. White mage needed the fleece. Great way to go. Yes, I think it is. By the Maronite. Yes. Brum bum 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 brum brum bum bum brum brum bum. Cool. So now back to Summoner. Good hunting. Bag any clear quartz there? This variety of colorless quartz can be found mixed in with the other precious stones glowing on the goblin's back. Them's what I was after. Clear as God's piss, no offense intended, and ring like a bell's. Okay, the calamities change a lot of things around here, That's true enough. But still, as a treasure trove, you can't ask for much more as a miner. Bum, ba-dum, bum. What are these monsters supposed to be? I mean, they're called Golden Fleece, so you kind of associate them to be with some kind of sheep. I don't think that they are. I see you've come galumphing back. Have you the crystal then? Watered pot contains a corrupted crystal. What a prodigiously large and lovely crystal. Professor Lamb will doubtlessly courtle you when you present it to him. Oh, and upon your return, do remember to recount how I helped you with your harvesting. This is the end. I thought we would always have each other, my hair and I. The deep crimson lifeblood of Voidsent Snurble, remarkably one of her sweet creatures, contains less than a half score of drops. Snurble blood, you are a lifesaver. Now for the tonic. Uncork the sea pickles, mine the effluvia, whittle of this, pizzle of that, and there. Don't stand on ceremony, tick-tock, tick-tock. Put your back into it and work my scalp. A potent potation containing the blood of a freshly slain snurble, fermented sea pickles, and several other grotesque ingredients that are best left unspoken. I think that's the exact same description, except snurble instead of furble. Ooh, ah, I feel that, my precious tresses. Papa's coming to save you. Once again, I am in your debt. Now that we know each other better, I can reveal the truth. This hair keeps me alive. I feel a great innervation of spirit whenever a strand is left on my comb. Surely that's proof enough. Probably quicker to TP down there. My keen scholar's sense tells me that you've obtained a corrupted crystal. Am I right? If you would grant me a moment to examine the crystal. Ah, yes, it is as you desired. A corrupted crystal overflowing with wind-aspected ether. Remind me, for what purpose did you intend to use this crystal again? What? The breach a barrier comprised of wind-aspected ether? Oh dear. That may prove problematic, as this crystal would only serve to strengthen the barrier. I suppose I am at fault for not inquiring as to your objectives from the start. Had I known your intent, I would never have sent you to Hahasako. Well, what is science if not trial and error? And can you truly say that this failure has taught you nothing? Think, man. Now you understand the methods necessary to safely collect corrupted crystal. You doubtlessly have no difficulty doing so once more. What's more, the crystal you collected can serve as an invaluable resource for the etheric studies conducted by the students of Baldessian. You've heard of them. Well, I don't mean to boast, but I have a professional relationship with the organization. Not as equals, of course. I would never be so bold as to claim that level of expertise. You're right. Seemed your eyes glazed over for a moment. Anyway, I shan't keep you from the task. You still a corrupted crystal to find. Alrighty. Shaman level up. Let's go with... I said shaman. Summoner. Let's go with the Dragoon. Professor Lamb knows where you might find the crystal you seek. Corrupted crystals of sufficient size and strength are not all that common, I fear. Fortunately, one of my other students, Sina, claims to have discovered another promising site in eastern Ludnosha. Wait, that's not correct. Eastern Ludnosha was where she was nearly killed when wandering too close to an Imperial castrum. Now, that made for an amusing anecdote. It was western Ludnosha, Pharos Sirius on the Isles of Umbra, to be precise. I can't recall her exact reasoning, something to do with one of Dalamud's talons or some such a nonsense. What I can say for certain is that she is still in Ailport, attempting to gain access to the Isles. Why not travel there and see if Sina inquiries bear fruit? If you can look past the crass and violent ways of the local pirates, you may find your time there to be quite pleasurable. Oh, and don't forget to take your makeshift warded pot, lest she think you unprepared for the task. Give me 1 second. Get a drink. One moment. That hit the spot. Alright. Ailport it is. Checking Discord real quick. Back at it. I think all this stuff is super low level, so we're gonna come back for it later. We got a couple at Isle of Umbra. Keep that in mind. Where are you? You upstairs? You might be upstairs. Corrupted crystals. So I have no interest in being the butt of your jokes, so if you've no other reason for addressing me, kindly leave me be. Well, I'll be damned. Professor Lamb did send you. Beg your pardon, it seemed to got off on the wrong foot. I'm Senna, greatest of the professor's pupils, which is doubtlessly why he bids you seek me out. Indeed, I am an accomplished scholar with an extensive background in... Oh god, this is still going to be prattled on and on. I must have given this introduction a dozen times by now. Senna is frustrated with the progress of her research. As I told the professor in my many missives, I believe that this area surrounding Pharos Sirius is replete with corrupted crystals of exceptional strength. Unfortunately, I have yet to test my hypothesis. as all access to the Isle of Umbra is prohibited at present, for reasons unknown to me. You see, my attempts to acquire this information are often met with annoyance and disdain. It's rather puzzling, since I always take the time to explain my motivations in great detail to the subjects of my questionings. Perhaps you have better luck wresting information from these yellow jackets. I've all but given up at this point. Up top. Keep thinking it's in this door. You startled me. Don't you know better than to sneak up on a person at a time like this, with all that fatuous gossip of spirits and specters haunting the Isle of Umbra? Just because I know it's nonsense doesn't make it any less frightening. Skibbity. Keen on traveling to the Isle of Umbra? Bloody hells, lad. Are ye drunk or just crazy? You're nothing there but death. Death and more death. The Isle of Umbra? What interest do you have in that godforsaken place? Ever since we were forced to abandon fair Sirius, the Isles have become not more than a graveyard for ships unable to navigate the shores. A purgatory for souls dragged down to the depths with them. You've returned. Tell me of your findings. Really? Infested with the undead, you say? That is very, very interesting development. Excuse me for a moment while I gather my thoughts. Senna seems to have regained her composure. Well, worry not, my friend. I have given your findings some thought, and I have concluded that this talk of spirits is not more than local folklore. As why all travel to the Isle of Umbra is restricted, well, mayhap it's considered too dangerous, owing to the abandonment of Pharos Sirius. Yes, well, anyway, while you were questioning those yellow jackets, I paid a visit to the local pub, since even an esteemed scholar like myself enjoys dulling her wits on occasion. It was there I heard of a man named Skyfriend, who was recently detained after returning from, wait for it, the Isle of Umbra. This is the first I've heard of someone actually traveling to and fro from there. So I'm curious as to how he obtained permission. Mind having a chat with him in my stead? He was arrested after all, so I'm somewhat reticent to approach him myself. Hold on, sneezing coming. Whew, excuse me. Sorry about that. I have to go back. She calls to me. Sings to me. Ugh. Tell Mimidoa I'm sorry. Give him this. He was right. Or could you release me? Yes, release me. I will go and tell her. Let me go to her. with all these quests that I've already out leveled, we're gonna come back and hit those up when I've gained flying at the end of 2.0 MSQ. But it's Skyfrin, I have to say. It's not terribly helpful. But I couldn't care less how much he misses his favorite bar wench. But what was that about a man named Mimidoa? Wait, I know that name. That's the bastard who grabbed my arse the other day at the pub. Well, if you want to give him that feather, be my guest. I'm not going anywhere near him and his wandering hands. What was I gonna say? All right. I could technically just wait for all the side quests, but one, it is experience, and two, this allows me to sort of take. It would have been nicer if I was able to do all these other quests when I was in that area to begin with. But you level really fast super early, and you lose a little bit of the experience of it. So say we had Whitebrim, right? Last time around, and there were a set of quests where everyone sort of like treats you with trepidation, and then you eventually win over the Lord Drillmont, and then everyone's like, you're my best friend. And if you wait, you would just get both of those quests one immediately after the other, and it wouldn't really make sense. So, having them in context. Another initiate, are you? No? And what are you? Speak up, son, I can't hear you. This brilliant feather reflects light as if it were actually made of gold. Bugger me, is this what I think it is? How could it be? You found this, you say? Where'd you say you found it? Skyfrin, you say? I was hoping you'd have a word with that lad, but it sounds like there's not left twixt his ears. Supposed to help patch up Pharaoh Sirius, he was. Company sent me to supervise a lot of them. Weren't getting work done on their own, see? Half of them walked off, half of them ran off, and half of them ended up and vanished. What's that? You be looking for passage to the Isle of Umbra. And you say so. I've been thinking of dispatching some to take a look on behalf of old Mimidoa. Tell him how the land lies. Ain't nobody been interested till you came calling. Old port's up in arms about spirits and so forth. If I had the guild, I'd hire some sellswords and let them sort it out. But you'll do in a pinch, you will. Show this parchment to the skipper and he'll see you there and back. Mumbo. So you went and had a word with Mimidoa. I hope the valuable time you saw fit to waste amounted to something. A slip of parchment granting you crossing to the Isle of Umbra. You mean that disgusting creature was Skirfrin's superior? I find that hard to believe, but this writ of passage does appear to be genuine, so it must be true. I must say, it's a relief to work with such an industrious man as you. I look forward to hearing your discoveries you will make on the Isle of Umbra without me. And has no desire to journey to the Isle of Umbra. Fine, fine, I fail to see the justification for dragging me along on your journey, but if you insist, I will go as well. My 12 is my witness. If you leave me behind to be devoured by some horrid abomination, I shall come back to haunt you. Ah, the sea calls to me. I have to change into my bathing suit and go for a dip. Responsibilities be damned. It's like that. Like, we just had this conversation about needing to go and do something, and they're like, you know, let's go for a dip. Ha! Take me to the Isle of Umbra, he bids. It's as simple as... Oh, I see you've got a rid of passage. Alright, then climb aboard. This doesn't seem all that bad. I'm not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but... Well, the hell's with this. Here, take your pot and go on without me. You've harvested corrupted crystals before, right? So this isn't as though you require my assistance. Speak to the man guarding the gate. I'm sure he'll let you in. Now, if you'll please excuse me. Anybody need any of this? I know people are gonna need some of this stuff. Just don't remember which ones. Beg your pardon, sir, but how did you come here? Access to the island is currently restricted. An old pot. Not sure if I follow. Oh, I see. You wish to harvest a corrupted crystal. Sorry, my friend, but you may have to return empty-handed. Let's go monk. David has a simple proposal for you. The writ Master Mimidoa gave you may grant you access to the island, but only authorized personnel may proceed past this point. Why, you ask? Look up and see yourself. When that giant mass of crystal struck the lighthouse, it caused severe damage to both the structure and the machinery within that once powered beacon. Contrary to what the small folk would have you believe, the fires of Ferros Sirius were not the product of a mage's thaumaturgy or a colossal arcane bomb, but an elaborate contraption fueled by ethereal energy. Repairs are still ongoing, but it's anyone's guess when they'll be complete. What's worse, all work has ceased since rumors of the Walking Dead drove off our entire crew. Not that those rumors are incorrect. I've observed the fiends from the distance, at the ship's graveyard to the south. What's drawn them to our shores is still a mystery, though. I'll make you a deal. You help me unravel this mystery, and I'll bring you your corrupted crystal. In fact, I shall begin searching for one that satisfies your requirements. As for where to begin your inquiries into the situation, it so happens that a party of 3 adventurers came ashore not long ago, seeking to scavenge valuable trinkets at the ship's graveyard. I'd be surprised if they knew nothing of the undead infestation, so it might behoove you to question them. Grave happenings. Ultan Yaratan looks to be scared out of his wits. Spirits. Wandering spirits all over the island. Gotta do something. In the names of the 12, be gone. They're not going, are they? I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, an adventurer. Thank the 12. I need some help here. The dead aren't resting so easy about these parts. How are we supposed to repair the lighthouse with all this roguery about is beyond me. Ish, all there for the taking. 5 bleeding years worth of wreck in their cargo. But those queer dead things and that voice... Actually, the voice was quite nice. You saw them too, right? Dead people. Just shambling about without a care in the world. Except when they do seem to care, that is, and start shuffling toward the water. God's the voice, that single fleeting verse. I can still hear it. Stay clear of the southern shore, friend. It took every ounce of my strength to resist. The haunted wrecks contain all manner of precious cargo, and Irapi Taropi believes he can find just the spice to take his soup from bland to grand. Well, I'm certainly up a creek without an oar. Easy coin, they said. Waltz right in, grab washed up goods, and then be on my way. Everyone'll think you a ghost. Bah, might have worked, except the real Walking Dead spirit's about. It's a shame, but ain't nothing worth rousting the wrath of them skeletons. All that booty up for grabs, but I ain't got nothing to grab but a ladle. What? Man's gotta eat while he waits for restless spirits to go wandering elsewhere. You look hungry yourself. And some of this chowder. Made it myself. Had nothing to season it with but salt, though. It's just on the bland side. While I tend it, why don't you go to the graveyard right quick and bring back some spices? I saw some nice looking Ferguson stuff before I had to scarper off on account of a phantom. There are spirits and then there are spirits. Otterwell craves one while fearing the other. This bottle is empty. Went that way a moment ago. There's something suspicious going on. Oh look, I spy an adventurer. How do you do, sir, adventurer? You know a big old lot of sand behind me. Them's the ship's graveyard. Currents bring 'em. All those wrecked ships. Whatever in their holds, too. Cask of wine, rum, mead, brandy wine. That be for the captain. And I'm kind of a captain. You look real tough. A lot of them aren't, you know. No what visit me. Wouldn't mind kept some of them are unkind. I need a drink. Here now, take this bottle and fill some from over there. That was something I wanted to do before I left Gridania. Need to check to see if I could level up in my guild ranking. I think I should have done that before I closed the stream yesterday. Just need these things. Really getting into called Cine 2 Nerdle Battles, or Cine Nerdle 2, depending on how you read it. Never heard of it. Probably haven't. It is essentially like a party game that people play called 6 Degrees of Separation. If you haven't heard of that, then it's a lot like a bacon number game. So 6 Degrees of Separation, or bacon number, is a person's bacon number is they try to connect through as many different movies they've been in, and then connect from that movie to another movie, and then to another movie, and then another movie, until you reach Kevin Bacon, who for a long time was sort of looked at as this highly prolific, in everything type actor. So a lot of people's bacon number is smaller than you would expect. So for example, something like who was I thinking of? Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum gets to Kevin Bacon through Jurassic Park, because he co-stars with Laura Dern. And then, what was it? Laura Dern is in Mulholland Drive, which she co-starred. She's either in Mulholland Drive or she's in Inland Empire, which is directed by David Lynch, who directed Mulholland Drive, which has Naomi Watts. Naomi Watts connects to Sean Penn via 21 Grams. 21 Grams would connect you to something like Mystic River, which stars Kevin Bacon. So that's something like a bacon number from Jeff Goldblum to Kevin Bacon of like 3 or 4. In fact, it's actually smaller because Jeff Goldblum is in a movie called The Right Stuff, which either has Kevin Bacon directly in it or has an actor named Fred Ward, who co-starred with Kevin Bacon in a movie called Tremors. The horror movie called Tremors. Let's see, before I get too dug into talking about this thing, let me... switching and doing these hunting logs. So what Cine 2 Nodal Battles are, is it's essentially that game, that 6 Degrees of Separation, that type of game, that but in a one-on-one battle situation. So instead of connecting from like one movie to another movie, or one person to another person, where you have your start and your end sort of predefined for you, you have your start defined for you. Say something like, I think right now, today they are alternating between The Lion King 1994, the animated movie, and The Lion King 2019, the live action movie. And the idea is you are supposed to try and sort of endlessly make connections between one movie to another, and then replace. Now you're looking at this other movie and trying to think of a connection between that. Or think of connection through that. And you keep going until someone can't think of a connection for within the 20-second time limit that you get during each turn. There's a couple rules to the game. You can't use a movie that you've already used before. So if we were thinking about Jeff Goldblum, I can't just go Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park, into Jeff Goldblum, Independence Day, into Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park. I can't just keep doing that over and over and over. I could go Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum, Independence Day, Jeff Goldblum, Lost World. Because he's in both Jurassic Park and the Lost World. But then I couldn't go back to Independence Day. I'd have to go to whatever They did a random sequel to Independence Day many years later. I can't remember the name of the movie. He was in that as well. He's also in The Fly. He's in a million movies. Thor Ragnarok, whatever. Right, so you would keep working it like that. The other rule, or one of the other rules, is that you can only use a connection a maximum of 3 times. And once that connection has been used up, you cannot connect using that connection anymore. It doesn't mean that you can't connect to a movie that, say, we're going Jeff Goldblum again. And somebody went Jeff Goldblum The Fly, somebody went Jeff Goldblum Right Stuff, another one went Jeff Goldblum Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And then one final person, so the connection, so then that would be 2 connections from Jeff Goldblum, from The Fly to The Right Stuff, from The Right Stuff to Independence Day, or whatever I said, and then one more connection, Jeff Goldblum to Thor Ragnarok. I can't go, oh, let me connect to let me connect to Buckaroo Banzai, or let me connect to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1970s version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because that connection would contain Jeff Goldblum. But from Thor Ragnarok to Invasion of the Body Snatchers would be through Jeff Goldblum. So I can't make that connection. Even if you were doing something where you were trying to make a connection to a movie that has multiple connections and one of them is Jeff Goldblum, you wouldn't be able to use it. So if I were to go, if I were ending on Jurassic Park 1 with all my Jeff Goldblums used up, but then I try to connect to Jurassic or Lost World, going like, oh, I think Sam Neill's in Jurassic World. I can't remember off the top of my head. Or Richard Attenborough, I think, is in Lost World. That's the connection I'm going to use. It's too bad. Jeff Goldblum is also the connection there, so you can't use it. Sea wasps over here. Anybody else need Dead Man's Moans? Yeah. You also have bands. You can have 3 bands to choose from, and it prevents the person that you're competing against from using that as a connection. So say my band was Christian Bale, and we were doing this Jeff Goldblum thing, and I ended on Thor Ragnarok. Well, no, Christian Bale is in Love and Thunder. Let's say my band was Sam Neill, and we ended on Jurassic Park. I couldn't go Sam Neill Event Horizon, or my opponent couldn't go Sam Neill Event Horizon because I had a band there. You're not allowed to go through the person that I have there. I could use Sam Neill because my bands don't affect me, but they do my opponent. Finally, you have little lifelines. So very similar to like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire lifelines. They give you little extra help to solve your problem. So one of your lifelines is you can add an extra 15 seconds if you need a little more time to think. Another lifeline is called a cast lifeline, which lets you see like a little blurb about who directed the movie, who wrote the movie, cinematography, composer, and then like the top build cast for the movie. So if you're like, if somebody puts you in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1970s version, and you're like, you know, I know Invasion of the Body Snatchers because there's that meme of the guy who's all like and pointing at the camera, but I can't remember his name. What's that guy's name? I can click on cast and I can see that it's Donald Sutherland. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy from the Hunger Games or whatever. Anybody else need these things? And then the final one, probably the most powerful one, is the skip lifeline. So again, hypothetical Jeff Goldblum. I'm playing and I start by going from The Fly to Jurassic Park with Jeff Goldblum. Somebody goes to The Right Stuff through Jeff Goldblum, and then I go, ha, you're not gonna know Buckaroo Banzai and Across the Eighth Dimension, which has Jeff Goldblum in it. You're not gonna know anyone else in there. This is the end for you. My opponent can go, sure, that's true. But if my opponent has one of those skip lifelines, they can go, I don't have to know who's in it. You have to know who's in it. And run a skip, which means, yeah, it's just an Uno reverse. The person who played it has to be the one who finds a connection. See here. Nary a drop of sweet ambrosia remains within. It's a lot of fun. I went on a rally of like 160 movies with some guy. The other day. It's not entirely just, hey, do you know more movies than the other person? I barely have seen a lot of the movies that I end up playing. It's just for some reason, my brain remembers, oh, John Lithgow is in Buckaroo Banzai Across the Fourth Dimension. Also, the guy from RoboCop, who plays RoboCop, is the main character. Just from random snippets. I think only reason I know is because I used to listen to the Tony Kornheiser podcast. And he would always, there was a soundboard that he had that had lines from the movie Buckaroo Banzai Across the Fourth Dimension. So he would talk about it a decent amount. Anybody else? Anybody else? I don't know where the axolotls are. Those are on half stone. Anybody else have anything half stone? Half stone. No. Sapsa spawning grounds. Sapsa spawning grounds. Okay. So what we got a bunch of 34s. We'll go as monk. Just kind of both learn from playing the game and seeing what other people have played and made connections with. Plus just random tidbits that you remember from random pieces of information that you pulled from years and years ago. Ain't fair with the rules changing all the time. I was a good looter, I tells ye. Now suddenly, job comes with ghost. The bottle contains a briny vintage found in tons recovered from the sea. Looky here. That's a full bottle. I had one of those around here before. I think something happened to it. Thanks. You're the best apparition I ever seen. Supposed to be other cargo too. Just full of electrum bars. Like for trading with the East and the Marisham. Me, I'll take the wine. Ugh. Smells like rotten eggs. I'm not drinking that. What a waste. All that wine and mead. Beer. Mustn't forget the beer. The brandy wine for the cat. You got him. Chowder's coming along nice. Like, I could always cook a fine chowder. A blend of exotic spices imported from well beyond the Sea of Jade. I see what I tell you. Knew that they were there. I did just toss them right in, and this will be a meal fit for an ad. Smells like feet. How long has that spice been left in the graveyard anyway? I ain't got no supper neither. Pull them were a bad idea. Easy money, they said. Sure will be for the folk on the island. I'll have to pay them for more potatoes and cream. Potatoes and cream. It's chowder. Chowder. It's chowder. You really got rid of all those moaning sods, didn't she? They're resting better now. I'll warrant. Whining sons of thralls. It's been one thing or another on these parts. Ships gutting themselves on reefs. Reliable hands disappearing. This used to be a nice spot, you know? Now the lighthouse busted. And we have things like this happening thrice a moon or worse. This talk of an alluring voice is disturbingly familiar. As if... That's impossible. They're all dead, aren't they? I forgot what voice I used for David here. David is sweating profusely. But if they have returned, that would mean... Oh, I beg your pardon. I was just, thinking about something. Which reminds me, I received word from Master Mimidoa would be arriving any moment. Apparently, he grew tired waiting for the lanky young lad with the 1,000-yarn stare to return, which I'm assuming is you. Lanky? I'm fucking built. I don't know what sort of arrangement you had, but you should probably go and explain yourself. We got a fucking Vana hanging around there. What's been keeping you, initiate? Ain't getting any younger, you know. Some honey-voiced harlot's been calling out the folk that wander near the ship's graveyard, and it stirred up the dead and all. Bloody hells. This taking me back to my days as a cannon boy, sailing under old Mistbeard. They wouldn't dare, would they? Not out of the lesson we learned them last time. Ugh, they bloody would. Well, they wouldn't they? Brazen old biddies. Some folks said the first purge would be the last. But I knew deep down in my bones as this day would come. Come and has. You bet me bum ear a siren's behind it all. Nay, not one of those sing-wine variety, initiate. Speak of the other kind. Them got feathers and lure sailors to a watery grave with their sweet, sweet song. Oh, but it don't end there. Grounding's just the start. See, even in death, a man stays bound to the beast, forced to do her bidding till his corpse can't do it no more. There's a fate I wouldn't wish on me worst enemy. Except maybe in drink, and I'd regret it later. Any road, 'tis up to us to stop the hell's-born hussy afore she takes another soul. Of course, we can't send ye marching off to war without these. The siren don't have no power over a man that can't hear her song. It is lucky for you I carry a spare pair, and lucky for the both of us that I'm a superstitious old sod, eh? Well, she ain't coming to us, so we best head over to her, to the ship's graveyard, initiate. Yeah, like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with the Cine 2 Nerdle battles. There's a lot more. It's a lot more than just knowing movies. There's a lot of strategy involved because you got those bands, you've got those lifelines, trying to like dig people into holes for certain actors. If you ever see a movie that has John Travolta that they didn't use John Travolta to reach it, then you just hit him with a Gotti. And end with like a From Paris with Love or a Michael or a Phenomenon. Movies that like basically don't contain anyone else. Nicolas Cage is another hole to go down. The same with like Willem Dafoe. Folks that are in tons and tons of movies. And are often in movies where they're the only notable actor. If she passes near the store, he's sure to spy the campfire and come looking. Just a matter of waiting now. We'll do this. Might just call it slightly early today. Beginning to wonder if some sly bugger ain't spurring us a yarn here. Bite. You hear that? It's her. Look out. Order water. Coming as she's come. Ooh. Quick, lad. Shove them plugs in your ears. Get ready for a fight. She realizes you're deaf to her ditties. She'll call on her thralls, and we'll be up to our necks in corpses before you know it. Hither, embrace mine everything, all. True love spurned, his cruelty's reward. Cast out, callous soul, dead to desire. Spare, mournful mistress. Distress. Why? Melody, last breath of death, the rhythm. Dost thou not, to relent, regret, forever alone? My love, a river, one look, soul shiver. No. No more. Dark eclipse. The heart. Eh? Am I alright? Eh. Better than that, initiate. Happy as a sailor in a whorehouse, I am. Of course, I'd be happy as a sailor with 2 Watsits if we'd gutted the songstress, but can't have everything, can ye? She'll not come crooning around here again, though, not for a while, any road. If she does, well, we know what to do, don't we? Thanks for the help, bugger me, I clean forgot your name. Remind me. I don't recall having no initiate by that name. But if you're not me, old mate, what's his name? Why you been so bloody helpful? Ah, never mind. Be seeing you, lad. Bum, brum, brum. You mean it was a siren? But how were you able to resist her song? See, I'd heard that Master Mimidoa was involved in the first purge, but I never actually... Having survived an ordeal like that, I can't blame him for carrying earplugs around with him. Anyway, I have something for you. The corrupted crystal you wanted, safely sealed within the pot, just as you requested. Please take it with my compliments. Oh, it's you. Welcome back, Em. You look remarkably hale, I must say. And more importantly, alive. You are alive, aren't you? Ah, the conquering hero returns bearing a gift. Let I have a closer look. Impressive. Very impressive indeed. Yes, I think you'll be quite pleased with this specimen. Congratulations, Em. Seldom have I ever encountered a corrupted crystal composed of such volatile overabundance of fire-aspected ether. What? You wanted a corrupted crystal composed of ice-aspected ether to counteract the effects of a raging wind. Well, this specimen won't help you there. Anyone who knows anything about the elements could tell you that. You'll just have to keep looking, I suppose. Senna knows where the corrupted crystal that you seek can be found. Don't fret now, I know exactly where to find a corrupted crystal comprised of ice-aspected ether. An associate of mine, Gridania, has been studying the effects of one such crystal on living beings. What's with that expression? I thought you would be pleased to hear this news. This is not another wild dodo chase, I assure you. And what's better, that this time you needn't use that watered pot to protect yourself from this crystal's energies. Hayden's findings suggest that it's quite safe. Why, you ask? Well, let's just say that it's undergone a unique process that has rendered such precautions unnecessary. Anyway, do not let me keep you. It's been a pleasure, Em. Come back to see me sometime, alright? Oh, well, at least we're going back to Gridania. A boon, so that we can check out the Twin Adder headquarters. See if I can level up. Apply for a promotion. Nope, need more seals. Where's this idiot? Right over here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. What are we at? Bard is our next one. Actually, Black Mage as well. Both are interesting. Greetings and salutations, Mr. Progression. I presume? Sienna informed me of your adventures in Ailport. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding, though as Professor Lamb is fond of saying, no action taken in the name of science is ever truly wasteful. The matter at hand, corrupted crystals possessing the properties you seek can be found in abundance at the standing choruses following the calamity. Alas, that is no longer the case, and while there is at least one suitable crystal that remains to be found within the Twelveswood, precisely where it is at any given moment is more difficult to say. Permit me to explain. You're familiar with Spriggans, yes? Furry little rascals that are wont to seek out ores and other stones. Well, one such creature, with an infamously insatiable appetite, has single-handedly devoured every corrupted crystal in the Twelveswood. Fortunately for you, these crystals take an eternity to digest, assuming they can even be digested, and I am reasonably confident that one still resides within his gut. It's quite fascinating, really. My theory is that this Giggity first consumed a corrupted crystal when... You couldn't care less about all this, could you? To the point, then. Giggity seldom makes his presence felt unless there is particularly fine fodder to be had. Therefore, we shall require a lure, and I have precisely the sort he will find impossible to resist. Simply place this true heart. I shall save the story of its origin... The story of the origin of its unusual name for another occasion, outside the Spriggan's lair, and wait for the opportune moment to pounce. As for the method by which you retrieve the crystal from his gut, I shall leave that to your discretion. Alright, yeah, we're gonna call it right here, rather than finish this up. Thank you all for watching. Whether you're watching live, lurking, or watching later on the VOD, I thank you regardless. If you wouldn't mind giving me a like on this video, I would greatly appreciate it, as it would help get my name out there and get more people to view my content. If you want to know the next time that I go live, you can always just go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can get those go live notifications. We've got just this last bit, I assume. I honestly, I didn't remember too much about what happened post Stone Vigil to now. I felt like it was Stone Vigil to immediately Garuda, which is why I put that in the title. We've got this little quest left, and then we'll tackle Garuda. On our next stream. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.